In the last video, I made my car racing debut at Brands Hatch in the Team Octane Mazda 2, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. I had that much fun, in fact, that in this video we're up at Oulton Park to take part in the BRSCC Clubsport Trophy, very similar to the track day trophy with a 25-minute qualifying session followed by a 45-minute race with a mandatory 2-minute pit stop in the middle. And this time out I'll be racing in the Rocket Dog Racing Mazda 2, a car that I've not yet driven, being partnered up with Jake, an experienced classic car racer, to try and take down the other Mazda 2s out on the field and the rest of the Class E cars. However, what happened in the race was something that neither me or Jake expected to happen to both of us, and certainly a race weekend we'll be remembering for, well, the wrong reasons. So sit back and get ready to watch a race with plenty of twists and turns. Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video where today we are doing another race day in the cars. Yeah, we're doing another one straight off the back of Brands Hatch, which is the last video you would have saw, obviously in this car. But this time we're in Rocket Dog Racing's Mazda 2, so we're in a different Mazda 2 compared to the Team Octane Mazda 2. So what's the big difference? So this is basically a stock Mazda 2 compared to this one. It's on springs and shocks. Power wise it's basically stock. So it's on different tyres, on GT tyres, I don't know how you pronounce it, over the MRFs. Brake pads are a bit different as well, so it's a completely different car pretty much to what we drove at Brands Hatch. So it'll be fun to see how we get along with it. I'm not expecting to be any quicker than the Team Octane car or the MRF of Nick's car as well, because his is also racing, which is just in the background if you can just about see it. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun. Like I say, I'm here to gain valuable experience, so I want the experience, need signatures on my license, you know, to hopefully upgrade it at one point. But yeah, we're here for the experience. I want to try and learn off everyone, especially, you know, Colin, Nick, you know, Joe. They've got valuable experience that I can learn off, so it's good to be able to share a garage with them all, so just doing it on my own. And yeah, say my teammate as well, so he used to race a lot of 60s cars from what he told me, so he should have some good experience. It's the first time he's driving a modern car, so yeah, so we'll see how we get along with him as well. He's a nice chap, so I spoke to him a little bit. But yeah, qualifying, 20-minute qualifying I think it is, followed by a 45-minute race where obviously we'll drive swap around. But yeah, let's get into qualifying and let's just see how we get on. And just like that, we are being called out to the assembly area, and of course to do all the noise tests, etc. before we shoot out into qualifying, as we see Nick's car come past then, and then obviously ourselves in the Rocket Dog car, and then the Team Octane Mazda 2 with Joe giving the camera a good little wave there. And as we come out into qualifying, I'm going to start off the session, and as we learned at Brands Hatch, we do need to be on it on the outlap, so no messing about. Obviously this is a car that I've not driven yet, so I have still got that tentative feeling that I do want to not go 100% just to learn what the car can do in case I come flying into a corner that obviously the car doesn't want to go around that quickly. So we'll let a few of the quicker guys through, but we do skip then to the end of lap 1 coming into lap 2, as we'll let a few of the quicker guys go past, especially the Audi TT, which gets really close to us, and that isn't going to be the first time today that the Audi TT gets close. But as we end at lap 1 on a 2:21, we're starting to learn now how much we can push the car, as we're on lap 2 coming through Dentons then, and we're going to come through Cascades. If we just listen to the tyres, yeah, you can hear the squeal then from them tyres, just to show that I am now pushing the car as quickly as I am. Coming up Lakeside and coming into Island Bend, we're hardly going to brake the car. There's a quick dab of the brakes as we come shooting through Island Bend. Like I say, we are really starting to learn to push the car now. And if we have a look ahead, we can see at Nick's car just about, so the last 2 laps I've been trying to follow him, as he pretty much knows this track pretty well, so the idea was to try and keep up with him, try and learn where he's braking, what lines he's taking, as I've only been to this track once in the damp in my Yaris, so a bit of a different scenario here coming to Oulton Park where it's nice and dry, and I say lovely, sunny and dry, and obviously in a completely different car. But now it's just all about learning what gears I need to be for what corner and how much speed I can take through each corner as well. And as we're coming into lap 3 then, the pit board is out to indicate that I do need to come and pit this lap to let Jake have his 3 laps in the car. The quickest lap then coming on lap 2 of a 2:19.8. Not a bad lap at all, but as we're coming on the in lap then, you'll see this MX-5 coming out of the pits. Now this MX-5 is in our class, so right here I'm trying to get a good gauge on how quick we are compared to that MX-5. Coming through Cascades then, we are sticking with it quite nicely. Obviously there's a new driver in that car. If they have done a driver swap, obviously the car is warmed up, so it's not a cold car. And coming up Lakeside then, it's just going to give us a good indication about how much limited power we've got compared to that MX-5. We're coming through Iron Bend then as we do, well the MX-5 ahead did brake quite a lot compared to ourselves, and coming up to the top hairpin, we are going to slightly catch up with it. We've still got it in our sights. But as we come through the chicane now, we've still got the MX-5 in our sights at this point, but as we come down the back straight, that MX-5, you can just see it's got so much more power than us, and it just starts absolutely flying away. But at this point, like I say, we're coming in anyway, so let's bring the car in and let's swap over to Jake. And as Jake comes out the pits, and like I said in the intro, this is also the first time that Jake is driving this car as well. So like with me, the next 3 laps of qualifying is basically going to be learning how quick the car can go through what corner, what gear he needs to be in, etc, etc. So it is much of a learning session as it is a qualifying session. And as we skip on to the end of lap 2 then, Jake is going to get overtaken by this orange Puma ahead. It is also in our class, and it's the first time that Jake's got a bit of reference with someone in our class to see sort of what lines are taken, where they're braking, etc. It's also interesting to watch about the different lines and different gears that Jake's taken in the car that I did. As coming down this back straight, you'll hear he's hitting the rev limiter. Obviously I changed up gear before coming to this corner, but Jake's going for the option of using the rev limiter. Like I say, just interesting to see the different styles of driving that we both take, using different gears and obviously different reference points here and there. But we are going to skip to the end of this lap, and Jake unfortunately is going to go wide at the last corner, triggering the sensors, which means this lap doesn't count. And unfortunately the amount of time that we do get isn't enough for Jake to complete his 3 laps, but it's not a bad thing at all. Still qualify for the race. And well, where did we come? We come 37th out of 38th overall, so we're not last in class or overall, and in class 6 out of 7. And I pull in the 2:19.8 as the quickest lap, while Jake did do a 2:22.9, but unfortunately the lap does get taken down for going in wide. So let's see what happens in the race. Alright guys, it's qualifying done. Not as quick as I'd like to be. There's a lot of time to find in the car. Doesn't feel as quick as the Team Octane car that we drove last week. But yeah, I definitely time in what I can drive in anyway. Yeah, 2:19 I got. Jake got 2:22. Like I say, 2 or 3 laps in it each, so there's not really much time to get along with the car or get on with the car. Find out its limits, especially with 3 laps. But yeah, the Team Octane Mazda 2 got a 2:13, and Nick in the MRF got a 2:15, so it's definitely time to find. We're starting right behind both of them, and I'm going to start the race. So yeah, going to be a bit different from last week or last video where I didn't start the race, came second stint. So this time I'm going to start it, see what it is. Try and get that experience of start rate, doing a race start. But yeah, I enjoy driving it, to be fair. It's very neutral compared to Neil's Mazda 2. Yeah, let's just see how we get on with it. So starting the race, pretty much at the back of the pack. But like I say, it's a Mazda 2, what do you expect? Yeah, here for the experience, so let's just see what happens when we get in the car.
But before we get to the race, we mistakenly put an extra 5 horsepower on the Team Octane car by putting a good old sticker on there.
And here we go then, out for the green flag lap. It is a rolling start for this race, so like with Brands Hatch, we go when the red lights go out on the main start finish straight. But once again, because we're so far behind, we can't really see the lights. But to come around the last corner then, we all are presuming that the lights have gone out, so now it is go time. So like I say, we are behind Nick, we're also behind Joe as well, who's also driving the Team Octane Mazda 2 as we come across the start finish line then to officially start the race. Now we know we're not as quick as the other 2 Mazda 2s in front, but the idea here is to try and keep up with them as much as we can, as anything can happen on these race starts, as we're about to find out as we come down to Cascade for the first time. The yellow flags are out for the incident on the right hand side. If you have a look there is a Mini off and a BMW which is coming on to join the track as we try and avoid it there as we come back into the green flag zone. Still right behind Nick, which is what we got to see, so he's not getting away. And if you have a look in front then, we're going to see Joe's going to attempt to move on the purple Puma, goes down the inside coming into the top hairpin and gets the move done, but the Puma comes right over to sort of cut Nick off there to really shut that door, which means Nick has to take evasive action and go onto the grass. As we're still on the left hand side then, so we let that quicker BMW come through, and we're still right behind Nick, who's also ready to attack that purple Puma in front. Now here's where we're going to find the absolute weak point of this Mazda 2 that we're in now, as we're trying to come over the hill. You can see Nick is just braking ever so slightly, but the car is still getting away from us. So this Mazda 2 definitely needs a bit more power in it. So as we come down then to the second chicane on the back straight, we are still keeping up with that purple Puma. It's a much quicker car than our Mazda 2s, but like I said, the driver in it at the minute mustn't be as confident as anyone else, as the Mini then from the incident comes flying past. And if we just skip forward, then you'll see right ahead, Nick actually does manage to overtake the purple Puma at Druids. So that is Joe in the Team Octane Mazda 2 in third, Nick in fourth, this purple Puma in fifth, and us still in sixth position. But as we come down to the final corner, the Puma is going to brake a lot earlier than we expect and does go a little bit wide, which allows us to come right at it. So a position could be on the cards. So if we come over into lap 2 then, come into the first corner, they do start slightly getting away, but once again the purple Puma just going a little bit wide and not taking as much corner speed as I managed to, as we're coming up to Cascades for the second time. We're going to notice then the Puma is going to brake early. We look on the inside, see there's a little gap there, but we're worried that he's going to shut the door like he did with Nick on the previous lap, so we don't fully commit to the move. I say probably wouldn't have been able to have got it anyway if, let's say, to see how much more power that Puma's got compared to our car, as he shoots right up Lakeside Straight as we're coming into Island Bend. This is right now where we're going to try and catch back up through the corners as we're coming up to the top hairpin. We're going to brake so much more later and catch right back up, but once again we know the Puma's going to start getting away as we're coming down to the back straight then. But there is a couple of chicanes to negotiate first, so we're hoping that the Puma is once again not going to be as confident on the brakes and round the corners, so it'll allow us to catch right back up like it does here. We are still on the back of this Puma, but again, the sort of weak point around the track for this Mazda 2 is just this uphill section, as the Puma is now really getting away. We messed up this corner last lap using third gear around the chicane, but this time we're going to put it into second, as we know a position could be well on the cards. Nick managed to overtake him at Druids, so hopefully we're going to be hoping for the same position. But once again, up this hill, the Mazda 2 is just struggling to get up, as that Puma really now does take off. But we are going to come up to Druids, and the Puma is indeed not going to find it as confident as we are, as he goes around a lot slower, so we really catch up, then really get slingshot around Druids. Look on the inside, we know the Puma's got more power, but at this point I'm committed to this move. As we come up to the final corner, the Puma does brake earlier than us. We're going to shoot our car right down the inside and get the position done, so that is us now up into 5th position out of 7 in class coming into lap 3. We know that Puma's got more speed, so we're going to start moving onto the inside and to defend the position, because we know it's coming right back. As we come up to the first corner, then hopefully we can get round still in position. We do indeed, as we look back, and we do indeed get the position made, and that is us now up into 5th position. So if we skip on to towards the end of lap 4, you'll see then that the front runners are now starting to lap us. Obviously they are very, very quick cars, and it did not take them long at all to get through us. But fortunately this is the beginning of the end for our race. So we're coming up to Druids then, as you can see then the front runners are flying past. But as soon as we get to Druids, we'll let this Golf from the right hand side past, and well, yeah, you remember that Audi TT in qualifying that came quite close to us? Well, unfortunately this time he came a bit too close to us and basically used us as a brake into Druids. Unfortunately, meaning that purple Puma gets straight past us, so we're now down to 6th. But let's watch the replay and see what happened. Yeah, you can just hear this tyre squeal from the Audi TT, obviously coming in a bit too quick into the corner, using us as a brake. Luckily no major damage to the car, and our car is still running and we are still in the race. So even though we're 15 seconds down from that purple Puma that is in P5, it does not mean we are slowing down at all. As you can see here, coming into lap 7 at turn 1, we do go wide, so we are starting to overdrive the car. The aggression that I sort of got in my mind from that crash and the adrenaline kicking in even more is definitely telling me to start driving much quicker, as I did really want to catch up. Obviously in hindsight I was never going to, but that feeling of catching up was still giving me a good feeling after such a downfall of the race. As we come into lap 8 then, we've got the yellow flags coming through Island Bend because of this BMW ahead, which is in the gravel pit, and that is going to need to be recovered, so the safety car has been released. Now I've never had a safety car come out while I've been on track, so this is the first time for me that this has happened. And well, I should have come in that lap, but my lack of experience did show then. So as everyone else come into the pits, I'm going to come in a lap later. So really losing us a bit of time there, but I do come into the pits to give the car over to Jake to let him do the second half of the race. So now Jake comes and rejoins under safety car conditions, but as soon as he's out, the red flags have been deployed, so the race has now stopped. And the requirement for a red flag is for everyone to stop at the final corner to allow the marshals to do what they have to do, which is obviously to recover that BMW in the gravel pit. And at this point, you'll notice that Jake has turned off the car to allow the car to not overheat, so it's not running a thermostat. However, a few minutes later, when everybody starts driving forward, Jake tries to turn on the car, but unfortunately it is just not going to turn on. It seems like there's just no power in the car all of a sudden. For whatever reason, it had power before, but now it just does not want to restart, which unfortunately means the marshals do have to push him off the track, and we do have to get recovered away from the track into the Parc Fermé area, which does indeed mean the end of our race. Is what I would be saying if it wasn't a red flag. Because it's a red flag, it means we can restart. So Craig comes running over to sort the car out, to put the battery line back onto the battery. So Jake gets the car restarted and quickly gets it back round to the garage, puts his helmet back on to get himself at the end of the pit lane, to put himself back into the race. So the safety car is back out, the track is all good to go, and even though we are starting from the back, it does mean, because of the safety car, that everyone's bunched back up. So hopefully it means that we can try and get some good results. Hopefully we overtake that Puma and reclaim 5th position in class is what I would be saying, but unfortunately, because with the safety car restarts, you cannot overtake until the start finish line. So with a Citroen C1 in front, unfortunately he's just going very slowly. Even though he's probably pushing at max pace, he is going very slowly, and we just cannot do anything about it until we cross the line, which is ahead. As soon as we've crossed it, we can now overtake the Citroen, but unfortunately, because we had to wait so long behind the Citroen, it means that everybody else has just gone away. So unfortunately for Jake, it does mean that we are pretty much about 10-11 seconds behind the back of the pack. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to show you, as like I say, everyone else is about 10-11 seconds ahead. So unfortunately, it's just Jake going around pretty much on his own for the remaining laps. But as we come across the checkered flag to finish the race, that in itself is an accomplishment for how the race has gone. So the classification of 31st out of 38 overall in class 6th out of 7, and the fastest lap produced by myself with a 2:19.172 on lap 7. Say just the classification on the right then is after the red flag, but if you're interested, this is the classification before the red flag. So yeah, pretty positive results all round. And like I say, after the race, everyone is having a good chat with each other, as Colin and Nick did end up having a really good battle. Shame I've not got it on camera myself, and shame we couldn't be a part of that battle as well. But here is the aftermath of the Rocket Dog car. So luckily not a whole lot of damage. But yeah, that is the Oulton Park race done and dusted. Let's debrief the race. Well guys, well 2 months after the whole race happened, I completely forgot that I didn't record an outro. So here we are. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed on the day, obviously getting taken out, not exactly what you want. The positives come out of it, the car's okay, everyone involved in the crash is okay. 3 seconds quicker than the teammate, which is obviously something that we like to see. Yeah, a lot of positives to take away from the race, even on the day I did feel pretty disappointed. Obviously we managed to get the car back out as well after the red flag incident. So yeah, so it's not the best of races, definitely an eye-opening weekend, but overall good pace. Again, especially in a car that I've never driven prior to that day before. There's definitely more power to come from the Rocket Dog car, and it's not the first time we'll be racing it in it this year. Next time we're racing it should be at Oulton Park and should have more power in it. Like I say, it's 2 months after the race has happened. I've already had another race at Snetterton where the Rocket Dog car has been driven, not by me, but it has shown promising pace. It is on the way forward. So hopefully Oulton Park, when we're back in it, should have a lot more pace in it. So yeah, thanks very much for watching YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And yeah, let me know if there's anything in these race videos that you do want to see. There's still 4 more races to do this year. Yeah, just let me know, and I will see you in the next video, which will be driving a single seater, so that should be a good video. Yeah, I'll see you later.